Hi everybody! In this video I'm going to go over an introduction to Lab 7, which is about object-oriented programming. So in this lab we're going to be implementing a very simple way of storing contact information on, say, a smartphone. And so to start off, let's just go ahead and download the Lab 7 source code. And let's open it in idle. Well, that didn't work for some reason, but I can always open up idle and take a look at it. Okay, I'm going to open my Lab 7 file. And to start off, we can see that we need to put our code right here. And it looks like in our main function, we're creating these contact objects that take in 3 parameters. And so let's just go ahead and run and see what we see. And yeah, it looks like this contact class is not defined yet, and so if we want to get a running program, the first thing that we would want to do here is probably just define that contact class, right? Which is very simple to define a class, right? We just need that class keyword followed by the name of our class, which we know has to be contact since we're already using it and we can't change anything about this code down here. So what's the first thing that our contact class is going to need? It's going to need a constructor, right? Maybe I'll put in a comment here. So we're definitely going to need a constructor, which in Python is always going to be called init, this magic method init. And we know every method's going to need to take in the self variable. And then if we look down at the code here, we see that these contact objects take in 1, 2, 3 parameters in their constructor. And it looks like just knowing Waded Cruzado is I think, president of the university. That is her first name, Cruzado is her last name, and this looks like a phone number. John Paxton is the head of our department. In computer science here, his first name is John, Paxton last name, and that's a phone number, probably of his office. So it looks like we take in a first name, a last name, and a phone number. And so what you're going to need to be able to do is assign these, save these parameters appropriately, like we've been learning about in this chapter about object-oriented programming basics. So I'm just going to go ahead and say save parameters as state variables using self, because that's what you're going to need to do in this constructor. I guess I'm going to need to say something like pass, because Python doesn't like an empty method. And then, so now I'm able to run these lines of code, right? I create my champ, president, and professor variables that point to contact objects. And then what's this line doing? Looks like it's making a list where each item in the list is one of these variables. And then we call print directory, which is defined right here, which takes in that list, right? And what does it do? It prints my contacts, it prints this line right here, and that's what we're seeing in the output here. And then it says for person and contacts. So that's iterating over these elements of this list. What does it do? It calls the print entry method on that contact object. And so the first thing it's trying to do is trying to say, champ, call the print entry method, but we haven't defined the print entry method yet, right? It says contact object has no attribute, print entry. And so if we want our code to run, which is good goal, we can define this print entry method. It looks like it doesn't take any parameters, but as we've seen, we always need to pass in the self variable. And for now, again, I'm just going to pass and let y'all figure out what you need to do here. But maybe we can go and see what does our output need to look like. It looks like we're going to need to print out the first name, the last name, and the phone number with some special formatting here. And so that's what the print entry method should do. So maybe I'll just put a comment in here. Print out the information about contact in format shown in sample transcript. Whoa, that was not how to spell transcript. Transcript. Okay. So that's what this method needs to do, is print the information just like we see here. But let's see what error we're getting down at the bottom here. Looks like contact object has no attribute, set first name. Okay, let's see where that gets called. So after we call print directory, it looks like we call set first name on each of our contact objects that we've created. And oh, excuse me, we call set first name on champ. So we're gonna, it looks like we probably want to replace this question mark with champ. So let's make sure we have a set first name. You're gonna need a set first name method, and it always has to take in self first, but then it also is gonna take in a new first name, right? And so what does this need to do? It needs to reset the first name to the new, oops, new first name, F name, right? But for now I'm going to pass, and you're going to do that when you work on this lab. And then we're also going to need a set title method, it looks like. So set title, that takes in self as always, and then it also looks like it takes in some sort of title string, right? So maybe I'll say something like self and title, and set title for this contact, capitalize contact here. And let's see how this is looking. See if we've gotten enough so that we run all the way through. So we do not get all the way through the program. It says the contact object has no attribute get cell number. That looks like another method that we're missing. And looking for that get cell number call, it looks like that's on this last line of the program, of the main function. We're printing out the area code for the cell number, and then we're going to print out the cell number and then we need to have some method that we can call to get the area code. So let's look at what the transcript for this should look like. So the area code for the cell number, this one was the champ cell number, right, is 406. So it looks like the get cell number should return the cell phone number, and let me just look at what it was called again. And the get area code should return just the area code, so just the first 3 digits of that number. So if I were to just put in some methods that are not done yet, but can help me make this program run, that would look like I need one that's get cell number, always takes in self. And it looks like it didn't take any other parameters. Yep, no other parameters. This should return the cell number for this contact. For now, I'm just going to return, let's say, something like the string 0. This is just a sort of dummy cell phone number. And then I also need a get area code, right? I'll say get area code. Also didn't take any parameters, but I need to put in self. This should return the area code for this contact, we'll say. And again, I'm just going to return 0 because in general, even though in this program all of my contacts have the 406 area code, but in general, I should be able to return any area code. And so I need to be figuring this out from that phone number data. Use the phone number, right? So let's now see if this runs. Yeah, and so you can see we're missing all that functionality to print out the contacts and print out the correct cell number and area code, but we do have a running program and the sort of shell of our contact method. And so from here, you can fill in everything you need. And so this is our first object-oriented program in this class. And yeah, good luck with this one.